Hi, it's Suzy with a quick exercise tip for you. Now, throughout April, we've been trying to give you balance-related strategies and tips because April Falls is an initiative where we're trying to raise awareness about the devastating effect of falls and how prevalent they are, and trying to give you those positive solutions to try and reduce your own personal falls risk. So today, we couldn't finish the month off without giving you some exercises that were targeted at the feet. Obviously, our feet interact directly with the ground and have a really important role in balance. And I'm going to show you 3 simple exercises that will have a significant increase in your balance ability if you do them consistently. So the first of those 3, we're going to be sitting down and using a spiky ball to try and wake up some of the nerves underneath the feet. Now we're going to work on a specific spot on the outside of the foot. I know it feels really good to do the spiky ball under the arch area. A lot of people like that release, but we're going to try and improve our balance, work on that spot more on the outside arch of the foot because it's been shown to be really important for our balance ability. So if you don't have a spiky ball, you can still use a tennis ball or something else similar, but ideally the spiky ball is slightly better because the spikes give you a little bit more to feel through the feet with those extra little dots. Okay, so I'm going to place the ball on the ground and I'm going to focus on more that outside part of the foot. I'm going to rest the foot on the ball, and if you can tolerate a little bit of extra pressure, you can push down with the leg. If it's enough pressure as is, don't push into pain. Remember, we're going for sensation here and not a painful sensation. We just want our foot to become aware of all those different little spikes on the ball, and we want to slowly roll the ball around that area so that the foot gets that complete experience. Now, I won't do it now, but I would recommend spending 30 seconds to a minute working through each of these spots on the foot, so the outside arch of the foot. Okay, so make sure you're doing it on both sides. That's exercise number 1. Should be nice and easy, and it'll get the foot ready for the next 2. Now, the next exercise is working on the muscles that spread the toes, some of the what we would call intrinsic or smaller foot muscles. And they're really important for balance as well because they help to create a nice stable platform for us to stand on or for us to propel forward off when we're walking. So as you're doing this exercise, you can do it in a seated position or standing. I'll show you in a seated position, but we want to keep our heel on the ground. We want to keep the little bump outside at the base of our 5th toe on the ground. And we also want to keep the bump underneath the big toe on the ground. So with those points anchored, what we're going to do is we're going to lift the toes up. We're going to spread them as wide as we can, and then we're going to place them back down on the ground. We're going to try and hold that position for about 2 to 3 seconds, and then we're going to relax. And we're going to repeat that 5 times on each side, making sure we're keeping those points down, lifting the toes, spreading, placing them back down, and holding them back down for that 2 to 3 seconds. Okay, so once you've done that on both sides, then we're going to move to our final exercise. Now, our final exercise is standing. So with all standing balance exercises, just make sure you've got good support nearby. I've got the wall next to me, and we're going to use that for support as needed because we're trying to strengthen the toe flexor muscles, or the muscles that push down as we walk forward. They're really important for balance. They should actually be at least 10% of your body weight in terms of their strength, and for many people, they fall short in that. So I've got a little wedge here, but a lot of the time you can make up the same situation by just rolling up a towel. The wedge is going to give my toes a little bit of a stretch because when we're strengthening the toe muscles, these specific muscles, the flexors, we want to make sure they're a little bit stretched to start with because that has a better response and outcome. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with just the toes on the wedge, as you'll see, and I'll have the other foot behind me as if I'm middle of the way through a walking cycle. I've got the wall here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift my pressure forward, and then I'm actually just going to lift my heel very slightly and hold this position for 5 seconds and then relaxing down. Now it's very different to a calf raise, so you've probably remember the calf raise from my other balance tip, where we're going right up onto the toes. Here I'm really only lifting the heel so that the pressure moves forward onto the toes. And as I'm pushing the pressure forward onto the toes, I want to push the toes down. So if you're rolling up a towel and you've got the toes along the towel, you want to really push the toes down into the towel as you're slightly lifting up that heel. And as we're focusing on strength, having a little bit of balance support holding onto the wall while you're doing that is not a problem at all. So again, you want to make sure that you're doing this on both sides, and this time I'd recommend a little bit higher repetitions. So if you can manage it, 8 repetitions, holding for 5 seconds on each of those points. All right, so I hope you've enjoyed the tips today. I do want to say a big thank you to everyone that passed on birthday wishes during the week, and I will see you soon for another quick exercise tip.